What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. There, Geeky Guy here, and today this is an updated classic constructed hero tier list. So we're gonna be going through each of them and just to know their position in the current meta. I mean, it's still early with the release of Outsiders to know the best position for the heroes to be in, but we do have some general ideas, especially after the Chicago Brawl, where Azalea actually won the whole tournament. Anyways, let's take a look at the Living Legend tier here. So this is actually just a quick recap for all you new all of you guys that are new to Flesh and Blood. So there are heroes that are considered rotated out in a way, but they will be back in some other version. So it's possible for them to be back in some other version, especially with Prism and Chain, where there is a new set upcoming set called the Dusk versus Dawn. Dusk and Dawn, I believe. So anyways, let's get back to the tier list. We have the Living Legends sorted out. Now let's jump into the first hero here, which is Kano. So Kano is in a really interesting position. So it really depends on how much your opponent respects the amount of arcane damage that comes to you, and also Kano really depends on the draw. And if the Kano is able to reveal some good cards with his ability, you're basically dead, especially when Kano is able to go with those really lethal attacks ranging from 20 plus to 30 damage. So it's going to keep blocking you out, set up some energy potions, and then really burst you down from there. So Kano is viable if you put in the practice and you really know how to actually run the deck, and with some luck, it is a pretty viable hero, especially with now the players running less than 3 arcane barriers. Gonna be really easy for him to burst them down. Anyway, next we are looking at Dash. So Dash is in a quite an interesting position. It's pretty strong with cards like Tackle Pounder and stuff. I think she is pretty viable. I'm not sure about competitive. She is pretty viable. So the reason she's not higher in the tier, I'm gonna put her right in front of Kano, because Azalea is dominating the scene for now with arrows like Ready the Ledger. It's going to be hard for Dash to go those really long boosted attacks. So all those different tokens is going to hurt her as well, especially she want to be having a bunch of cards in her hand in order to boost effectively. So yeah. Next we are looking at Azalea. Azalea obviously currently in the top of the meta. So it could be due to a few reasons. It's just because she's an aggro deck, and I wouldn't say she's that hard to pick up, but she specializes in cards that really disrupts aggro decks, such as Read in the Ledger, Remorseless, and then she have a bunch of new tools like Lace with Inertia, Lace with Fealty, and then she have Codex of she has access to Codex of Inertia. So those are the cards really empower Azalea and Ranger in general, actually. So of course, top of the meta. And then we are looking at Viserai. Viserai is another one of those heroes that is pretty 50-50. I'm going to put him in viable. He's good if you know what you're doing, but it really depends on the draw, because like all rune build classes, he really depends on the sequencing of the non-attack and attack action, and yeah, really draw dependent. If you can build out enough rune chants and attacks to burst down your opponent, that's good. But yeah, with the lack of Bloodshot Skeletor, most Viserais are going for more of a mid-range slash aggro kind of build-up, depending on the classes they are going against. So it's gonna be sitting comfortably right at a viable tier here. So next we are looking at Subaltern. So Subaltern is one of those heroes that surprises us when he actually wins any armory or tournament. So the thing is, with once again Azalea running rampant, he can't really do more than one action, especially if you're running the Sable build. However, for the Raidon one, you could actually opt to use it against Azalea still. So Bolton's weakness is having to banish cards into his soul before he gets any useful So it's another condition for him to actually go online, so that somewhat hampers his ability to do better. So it's gonna sit down in somewhat viable. Once again, this hero actually really depend on your meta, and if there are players that really put their hours into this hero, it's gonna be different. Next, we are looking at Levia. So Levia. Anyways, she is one of those heroes that people really try to actually make her work. She does work sometimes, and really depends on the pilot. So if the player is good, she's gonna do good, obviously. So yeah, one of those heroes that really requires practice. I'm gonna put here right behind Bolton. Next, we are looking at Dorinthia. Dorinthia always has been one of those scary heroes in the meta. She has access to a bunch of armors. She has access to the Steel Bear Shunt, so pretty good. I'm going to put her in the competitive tier. I do believe Dorinthia, as always, has been a pretty good hero to run, especially when you're not experienced in blocking against Dorinthia, giving her the counter that she needs. So she's gonna sit comfortably in the competitive tier. Next, we have Rhinar. So Rhinar is a really interesting. After the release of Outsiders, he's going to be, I believe, right in front of Dorinthia. So Dorinthia really relies on a weapon, and frailty token really hampers that. So definitely, even though she is competitive, she still sits somewhere behind Rhinar. Rhinar with his intimidate mechanic is still pretty good. So especially against classes that rely on instance playing on instant speed, such as Kano or Icelander. Next, we have Bravo. Bravo is definitely one of the competitive hero. Always has been one of those classic WTR competitive hero. So with his huge dominated attack and cards like Crippling Crush and the Spinal Crushes, really good against aggro decks. And then if you want to go slow, that's possible. You can even just basically block with 2 cards, pitch, and then Anatos or 6. So yeah. Bravo can start with a more relaxed kind of tempo gameplay, and then move into Crippling Crushes and Spinal Crushes to end the game. So even with cards such as Macho Grande, so that is really helpful. Anyways, next we are moving towards Katsu. Katsu is, I guess, she's around the viable tier. So with the access of a better tools such as Dishonor and stuff, he's pretty good. But still, once again, with Azalea sitting on top, it's really hard to go wide. And Katsu with having access to really little armor, and maybe even with good defense reactions such as Flix Flags, he does struggle, because Katsu really want to go wide, and Azalea prevents that. But he is still a threat in the field, especially if the player is good and he knows how to play Katsu really well. He can still work, but yeah, it does require some practice. Next, we are looking at Olheim. Olheim is definitely at one of the top of the meta, so he can block really well, as always. It's pretty good. He can block out Azalea, he can block out Alexis. So yeah, I'm gonna put him at one of the heroes in the top of the meta. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Next, we are looking at Briar. Briar sits around here, because the reason being, she is still okay, I guess, with the access of Mountain. She can go tall if she really wants, but with Azalea in the field, once again, ready in the ledger, will cripple her really bad. It's really hard for aggro decks to go wide with the Lady of Death running around with her ledger. Yeah, so it's pretty hard. She's gonna sit right here. The reason she being a bit higher than classes like Katsu and so is because her access to armor such as Grasp and then Ether Iron Beef and stuff. So extra armor for her, which is good. Next is Lexi Livewire. So she's gonna sit right behind Olheim and also Azalea. The reason being, she's still good. She has access to cards like all the laces, Lace with Anisha, Lace with Frailty. She have access to all the codexes, And she is once again a ranger, so ranger really got a huge buff in the new set Outsiders, so it's not really surprising to see her at the top of the meta. But yeah, still lacking compared to Azalea. I still prefer Azalea over her. Next we have Islander. Islander is fine. Yeah, it's just that she couldn't survive tall attacks, so she struggles against really tall attack. Even in the recent Chicago Brawl, Michael Hamilton is having trouble against Azalea. So, but she is still competitive. I believe she's gonna sit snugly right over here in the competitive tier. Next we have Dromai. Dromai is fine. So if she could block out and really set up a board, she'll do well. There's not much I can comment on Dromai. I'm gonna put her in the viable tier. So yeah, she's gonna do good if possible. Fi, unfortunately, Fi, I can either put him at the viable tier or in the somewhat viable. So people don't really play Fi much that anymore due to the fact that him depending on really small attacks like Ronin Renegade and then his Phoenix Flames. So I'm gonna put him right in front of. He is of course better than the other two, but yeah, maybe he should be in the viable tier right here. I guess that would be a better position for Fi. Next we have Uzuri. So we did see Uzuri do well. I believe that she has the potential to be one of the threats in the upcoming tournaments. I'm gonna put here right at a competitive tier, just because she's really efficient in playing out all the 6 attacks. All the 2-cost attacks with her reaction. Yeah, so pretty much belongs in the competitive tier. Maybe, yeah, I'm gonna put her snugly around here until she can prove more. Next we have Riptide. Unfortunately for Riptide, people are still figuring out how to play him. So for that, I'm gonna put him in a somewhat viable tier. Being able to actually shoot some arrows and then rely solely on his traps. I guess he could do better if people can figure out the amount of defense reaction you should have. If you read an article published by fabtcg.com, I forgot the author, sorry for that, but yeah, we know that Riptide, if you play all the defense reaction from Riptide and from his ability, you're gonna deal 1 damage each every time you play a defense reaction and you trigger trap. It's gonna deal 1 damage. You can actually deal up to 30 damage with that. So he does need to rely on some arrows. That's pretty much it, guys. Those are the tier list that I think I'm pretty happy with that. If you have anything to comment, just comment down below and let me know what you think. Is the position is something you agree with, or you want to change some heroes around? Feel free to let me know down in the comments, and see you guys in the next one. Do like, subscribe, and support me on Patreon if you want. Bye.